Ladies and gentlemen, we often find ourselves questioning life's challenges, wondering why things don't always go according to our plans. It's easy to feel lost when things don't seem to be working out. But let me tell you this: God will never fail you. When you face setbacks, when you're staring at obstacles that seem insurmountable, remember that you're not alone in this journey. There is a higher purpose unfolding behind every moment. You may not see it now, but trust that everything you're going through is a part of a larger plan designed just for you. The key to overcoming difficulty is faith. You see, life is not always about having the perfect circumstances. It's about developing the strength to move forward regardless of them. God's plan is bigger than the temporary struggles you face. Every obstacle is an opportunity for you to grow, to develop resilience, and to learn patience. And let's talk about patience for a moment. We live in a world that thrives on instant gratification. We want things now, and when they don't come, frustration sets in. But I want you to understand that God's timing is perfect. It's not always in sync with ours, but when you trust in His timing, you'll see that things unfold in a way that's far better than anything you could have imagined. Sometimes the most valuable lessons in life come from the most difficult moments. Struggles, while painful, are often the very things that shape us into who we're meant to become. Through each trial, you're being prepared for something greater. So when you feel like giving up, when the road seems too tough, remember that God has a purpose for your struggles. It's through overcoming them that you're building the strength you need for what's ahead. With God by your side, you cannot fail. There is an unwavering confidence in knowing that you are never truly alone. Your strength may waver, but His support never will. God will never fail you. He will always guide you, protect you, and ultimately lead you to your purpose. So, the next time you face a challenge, don't be discouraged. Stay focused. Trust in the process, because with God, the best is always yet to come. When we encounter challenges in life, it's natural to question why things happen the way they do. It's easy to feel overwhelmed or confused, especially when things don't seem to be going according to plan. But in those moments of doubt, it's important to remember that there is a bigger picture at play. Life is not just a series of random events or coincidences. It's part of a larger plan. This is where trust comes in. Trusting that there is a higher purpose behind each experience, each success, and each setback is a foundational aspect of faith. Trusting in the bigger plan means accepting that not everything will make sense in the moment. Sometimes we face obstacles that seem unfair, unjust, or simply insurmountable. In these moments, our immediate reaction might be to question why we're going through this. We might ask, "Why me?" or "Why now?" But trust in a bigger plan allows us to view life not just from the perspective of what we see immediately around us, but from the perspective of a larger, divinely designed journey. Take a moment and think about the most challenging moments in your life. Can you recall any instances where you faced something difficult, only to later look back and realize that it led to something good? Perhaps it was a job loss that eventually led to a better opportunity, a relationship that ended but opened the door for personal growth, or a mistake that taught you valuable lessons you wouldn't have learned otherwise. Looking back, those painful experiences now serve as stepping stones to where you are today. But in the moment, they were just obstacles that we couldn't understand. This is where faith and trust come in. Trusting that there is a greater purpose means knowing that everything you're experiencing now, whether it's joy or sorrow, is part of a carefully designed journey. It's easy to trust when things are going well, but it's much harder to trust when we're facing adversity. Yet this is the very moment when our trust in the bigger plan becomes most essential. When you have faith, you start to see challenges not as barriers but as opportunities. Each challenge is like a test, a chance for you to grow, to learn, and to strengthen your character. The belief that everything happens for a reason empowers you to keep going even when the road ahead seems unclear. When life throws you a curveball, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What am I meant to learn from this?" By doing so, you shift your focus from being a victim of your circumstances to being an active participant in your own growth. Faith allows you to believe that there is a purpose behind everything. Even when the path ahead is difficult and you can't see the next step, trust that each step is part of a larger divine plan. It may not be obvious now, but down the line, the pieces will come together in ways that are beyond what you could have imagined. Things that seem chaotic and out of control will eventually make sense as part of the intricate design of your life. The beauty of trusting in a bigger plan is that it frees you from the constant pressure to have everything figured out. You don't have to have all the answers right away, and you don't have to know what's coming next. What you can do is trust that everything you are experiencing is moving you in the right direction, even when you can't see it yet. You start to understand that what's happening now may not be the final chapter of your story. It may just be one small, necessary step towards something far greater. You see, trusting in the bigger plan also means recognizing that life's challenges aren't there to break you, they're there to prepare you. God's plan for you is not to cause you harm, but to shape you into the person you are meant to be. Every moment, every experience, and every challenge you face is a building block, crafting you into someone capable of handling bigger opportunities and challenges ahead. Trusting in the bigger plan takes patience, faith, and an unwavering belief that even when things are tough, you are exactly where you need to be. You may not see it today, but you will, and when you do, you will realize that everything, every twist and turn, every high and low, was necessary for you to reach the place where you are meant to be. Faith is an incredible tool for resilience. It's easy to have faith when everything is going smoothly, when life is lining up with our expectations and we feel in control of our circumstances. But the true strength of faith is tested during the times when we face adversity. In those moments, faith becomes not just a comfort, but a source of resilience, a way to keep moving forward when everything within us feels like it wants to quit. It's during the hardest times that faith, rooted in belief, gives us the strength to keep going and to trust that everything will ultimately work out. Resilience isn't about avoiding hardship or pretending that challenges don't exist. Instead, it's about how we respond when life doesn't go as planned. It's easy to crumble under pressure, to feel defeated when things go wrong, and to question whether we'll ever make it through. But when we lean on our faith, something changes. Faith in a higher purpose gives us the ability to stand firm, to take the hits, and to keep moving forward despite the setbacks. It reminds us that our current difficulties are not the end of our story, but simply part of the process. In the midst of struggle, it's tempting to think that failure is permanent, that our dreams are out of reach, or that we've hit a wall that we can't overcome. Yet, the power of faith lies in its ability to remind us that this is only temporary. Faith teaches us that setbacks don't define us, they refine us. Every failure or obstacle is a step toward something greater, and the strength to endure is built one day at a time. One challenge at a time. It's like building muscle. The more resistance you face, the stronger you become. And every trial you face with faith makes you more resilient, more capable of handling future challenges with grace and confidence. The key to resilience is understanding that setbacks are not permanent, and faith allows us to hold on to this truth when everything else feels uncertain. It's easy to become discouraged when things aren't going the way we want. But with faith, we can remind ourselves that just because something isn't working out now doesn't mean it won't later. Just because we've faced failure doesn't mean we won't achieve success in the future. Faith helps us see the bigger picture, to trust that the path we're on, no matter how difficult it seems, is leading us toward growth and ultimately toward success. Faith also fosters the kind of inner peace that is vital when we're facing adversity. In moments of difficulty, it's easy to become consumed by fear, doubt, and frustration. These emotions are natural, but they don't help us grow. They only keep us stuck in the pain of the moment. Faith, however, offers us a sense of calm in the chaos. It helps us to trust that, even though things might feel out of control, there's still a higher power at work that will guide us through. Faith allows us to take a step back and gain perspective, to remind ourselves that we're not alone and that everything is happening for a reason. What's even more remarkable is that faith doesn't just give us resilience in the face of adversity, it actively encourages growth through hardship. When we place our trust in God's plan, we begin to see challenges as opportunities for personal development. The things that break us down temporarily also build us up over time. The pain and struggle we experience in one season of our lives is often the very thing that equips us for the next. Without adversity, we wouldn't have the experiences that shape us, that prepare us for greater challenges, and that eventually lead us to a stronger, more resilient version of ourselves. Faith teaches us that setbacks are not something to fear, but something to embrace. With faith, we understand that our journey may not always look the way we expect, but it's still leading us toward the life we were meant to live. Resilience doesn't mean we won't face difficulties or that we won't feel pain. It means we can face those difficulties with the certainty that we have the strength to overcome them, and that no matter what, we are never alone in the process. In the end, resilience is about perspective. It's about knowing that with faith, we have the strength to face whatever comes our way, to keep moving forward, and to trust that there's always a reason behind every challenge. Faith is the foundation upon which we build our resilience, and it's the guiding force that keeps us standing, even when life feels like it's pushing us down. Patience is one of the most challenging virtues to cultivate, yet it is also one of the most essential. In today's fast-paced world, where everything is expected to happen instantly, learning to be patient can feel like swimming against the tide. We live in a culture that values quick results, instant gratification, and the belief that if something doesn't happen right away, it isn't worth pursuing. But in reality, patience is an invaluable tool for navigating life's difficulties, especially when we are trying to understand God's purpose in our lives. Patience teaches us to trust that everything happens in its right time, and sometimes that's not the time we think it should be. In the face of challenges, we often want immediate solutions. When things aren't going as planned, or when obstacles seem insurmountable, our first instinct might be to try to rush the process or force things to happen. We might feel frustrated because the answers don't come as quickly as we'd like, or because we're not seeing the immediate results of our hard work. But that's when patience becomes crucial. Learning to be patient allows us to slow down, take a deep breath, and recognize that God's timing is far greater than ours. When we stop rushing and trust in the process, we open ourselves to receiving the lessons and opportunities that are meant for us. Patience also helps us develop resilience. It's easy to give up when things don't unfold according to our timeline. We might feel discouraged or defeated, wondering if the effort is even worth it. But when we learn to be patient, we begin to see that persistence, not speed, is the key to achieving our goals. It's in the quiet moments of waiting that we often build the strength we need for what lies ahead. Patience gives us the ability to stay the course, to keep going even when the road is long and the destination seems distant. It teaches us that the most worthwhile achievements often take time and effort to build. Moreover, patience encourages growth. Sometimes, when we're impatient for something to happen, we're missing out on the lessons we're meant to learn along the way. It's easy to look at the end result and focus on what's ahead, but patience teaches us to appreciate the journey. The steps we take, the small victories, and even the setbacks are all part of the growth process. When we are patient, we allow ourselves to learn from every experience, to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. If we rush, we might miss out on these vital lessons that shape who we are. Additionally, patience teaches us to let go of control. We often want to be in charge of every aspect of our lives, but the truth is that not everything is within our control. There are many factors at play in life that we cannot influence or change. When we are patient, we learn to accept that some things are simply beyond our ability to control. We may not understand why certain things happen, or why they're happening at a particular time, but faith in God's timing allows us to release that need for control and trust that everything is unfolding in the way it should. Patience also enhances our ability to trust. It's easy to feel anxious or worried when things aren't going the way we expect. We might feel as if time is running out, or as if we are being left behind while others seem to move ahead. But trust in God's timing helps us to relax and let go of that fear. It helps us understand that we are exactly where we need to be, even if it doesn't feel that way in the moment. Trusting that God has a purpose for everything and that He is orchestrating things in our lives in the perfect way and at the perfect time helps us to be patient in the waiting. Furthermore, patience allows us to find peace. The more we try to rush through life, the more stressed we become. We worry about the future, about what we need to achieve, and about how much time we have left. But when we embrace patience, we begin to experience a sense of calm. We stop fighting against time and instead allow things to unfold naturally. We learn to be present, to appreciate what we have in the moment, and to trust that the future will come in due time. Patience offers us the peace of mind to accept where we are right now, knowing that we're exactly where we need to be in the grand plan of things. In the end, patience is not just about waiting for something to happen. It's about how we approach life as we wait. It's about trusting in the process, learning from every experience, and knowing that everything will come to fruition in its own time. It's about letting go of our need for immediate results and having the confidence that with patience we will reach our destination, stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling whatever comes next. Patience is not just a virtue, it's a mindset, a way of approaching life with faith, trust, and peace. In every aspect of life, understanding that God's plan is always greater than our own is essential for cultivating a sense of trust and peace. It's easy to get caught up in our own desires, our own timeline, and the expectations we set for ourselves. We often assume that if we work hard enough and push ourselves in the right direction, everything will align according to our desires. However, the truth is that our plans are limited by our own understanding, while God's plan for us is infinitely wiser and more expansive than anything we could envision. This realization is crucial for developing the trust necessary to navigate life's uncertainties with faith and confidence. When we trust that God's plan is greater than our own, we free ourselves from the constant pressure of trying to control every outcome. We stop seeing each setback as a failure and start viewing it as part of a larger divine design that we may not fully understand in the moment. Life's twists and turns, even the ones that seem to push us off course, often lead us to exactly where we need to be. Our limited human perspective makes it difficult to see the bigger picture. But God's plan encompasses not just the destination, but every experience, every lesson, and every relationship that shapes us along the way. In moments of difficulty, it's easy to question why things are happening, or to feel like we're being left behind while others appear to be progressing faster. We might wonder why some of our efforts don't seem to yield the results we hoped for, or why things don't happen when we think they should. But when we understand that God's plan is greater, we begin to see that these moments of struggle and frustration are not signs of abandonment, but invitations to trust in a purpose that extends beyond our immediate understanding. Sometimes the most profound growth occurs in the seasons of waiting and uncertainty, and the setbacks we face may be leading us to an opportunity or experience that would not have been possible otherwise. The key to trusting in God's greater plan is to recognize that we are not alone in this journey. We are part of a much larger story that transcends our own individual struggles. By surrendering our limited vision and trusting that God knows what's best for us, we allow ourselves to be guided by faith rather than fear. We learn to let go of the anxiety that comes from trying to predict or control every outcome, and we embrace the peace that comes from knowing that we are always exactly where we need to be, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. It's important to remember that trusting in a plan greater than our own does not mean we should stop working toward our goals or take a passive approach to life. On the contrary, it means that we take action with a deep sense of trust, knowing that the results are ultimately not in our hands. It's about finding balance, doing the work, taking the steps, and putting in the effort, but also surrendering the outcome to a higher power. We don't have to carry the burden of every decision, every choice, and every result. Instead, we trust that the path we are on, even when it seems uncertain or challenging, is part of a divine blueprint that is unfolding for our ultimate good. Understanding that God's plan is greater than our own also means we stop comparing our journey to others. It's natural to look at people around us and wonder why they seem to have things figured out or why their lives seem to be moving in a different direction. However, when we compare ourselves to others, we forget that we are all walking unique paths, each one with its own set of challenges, opportunities, and lessons. The idea of a perfect life or perfect timing is often an illusion, and trying to live according to someone else's standards can lead us away from the fulfillment of our own purpose. God has a specific plan for each of us, and it is unique to our own experiences, strengths, and aspirations. Trusting in God's greater plan brings a sense of comfort and reassurance. We no longer feel the need to rush, to force things to happen according to our timeline. Instead, we can lean into the certainty that everything will unfold in its own time, and when it does, it will be exactly what we need. Every step, every delay, every moment of uncertainty is part of a larger design that will ultimately lead us to a place of growth, fulfillment, and purpose. The struggles we face today might not make sense right now, but as we look back, we will often see how perfectly everything aligned in hindsight. In conclusion, learning to trust in a plan greater than our own is an act of faith that empowers us to live with peace and confidence. By releasing the need to control every aspect of our lives and surrendering our expectations, we open ourselves to the blessings that come from God's wisdom and timing. His plan is always greater, and when we trust in that, we are able to move forward with a deep sense of purpose, knowing that the path we are on is exactly the one we were meant to follow. The role of trust in life cannot be overstated, especially when we are facing challenges or when things don't seem to be going according to our plans. Trusting God during these times is essential because it allows us to let go of our anxieties and relinquish the need to control every outcome. Trusting in God's will, timing, and wisdom can provide us with the strength to endure hardship, knowing that there is a higher purpose at work behind the scenes, even if we cannot see it in the moment. When we choose to trust in God's plan, we are making the conscious decision to let go of the need for immediate results. In a world where we are often encouraged to seek quick fixes or to expect rapid success, it can be difficult to embrace the idea of waiting. But trust allows us to understand that there is value in patience, and that waiting for God's plan to unfold is not a sign of stagnation, but of growth. Trust teaches us that everything happens for a reason, even if that